Hello, subscribers. How you doing? I'm King Hart back again to discuss with you all kind of things of systemic racism and the acts of racism and black people. Just here to talk about life and who we are and what's going on in our media apparatus of the mainstream media and who we are and what we've set up here. You see, we as black people have designed a media apparatus for ourselves. First of all, I want to say that. Because we have the mainstream media, of course, we've been had that, but we now at the grassroots and the new voices of black media, shout out, have set up a media apparatus that we all need to come to and enjoy, and not just enjoy. No. I'm not saying enjoy like we having a show, but knowledge is power, and a lot of groups are fond of it because they benefit from it, right? But we need to come here and really be a part of it. And I see a lot of us, we've, kind of relegated to a group. And that's what the whole idea is, to respond and build an engine that's respectful and substantial to us, that gets power and proximity to respect and power, proximity to power. And that's what we have done, and that's what a lot of people have done. The grassroots and the new voices of black media, have built a apparatus, a media apparatus where we now are effective. And we've been talking about this for so long, and guys, it's important. I've been following this content for the last 6 years, 5 years, 5 years. But my heart has been in this space for the last 12 years. It's always really been there, but for the last 12, I know. And I've been coming into a social construct that shaped this and that sharpens it, because that's what I look for. And constantly doing assessments and studying about who we are and studying about political science and social science. And it's very real and it's very good and effective that we do that. It's very imperative also. Really, it is. And let me say, the reason why you guys are getting some response in the mainstream media that goes your way in terms of racism is because of the grassroots and new voices of black media, where we hear unfolding and uncovering things in the apparatus that was designed for us. We gained attraction to it, and we all got on board, and people are following and coming to this. And it's a huge influx of people saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, to thought leaders and stuff. Thank you so much. I didn't know that the phone lines open for different groups. You got Yvette Cornell, you got Tariq Sheed, you got the Black Authority, you got Boyce. Dr. Boyce is amazing. You got a lot of people might not say that because some people he worked for. There's a little bit of infighting, but that doesn't spell what bigger fish fry, because we all ring in the same bell. But in terms of little social dysfunctions, sometimes people say stuff about each other, but it's so much bigger than that. Because when I started out, I saw some of that, and our fish to fry is a lot bigger. Okay, we're gonna have family in difficulties sometimes, but yet it doesn't stop the blood lineage in the whole body in terms of respect of what we're doing and what we pursue to do. Okay, so we follow people in this sector, black folks. This is imperative that you have to do that, because this society has not been built and construct for you to enjoy its incentives that you need, that keep you out of dire situation. This is where our life is affected. Politics is your life, and we understand that. We've adopted that as a normal. We normalize and understand that's a normality now to us. Every day we understand policy and politics is every day. How you live, what you can access. It's not far and away from you. It's meeting you at your front door. It's going in your daily walk. It's what you can access, how you're anchored, how you feel, what you believe also. It get that serious in terms of we're not having our own media content and our own constituency and partnership where we've designed, where we've designed it here, the new voices of black media and the grassroots groups. But in terms of us not having that, is which we one time we didn't. We just depend on the mainstream. Was whatever they say and whatever they articulate to us, we kind of take it to heart, or take it to a factual place, and let it caress our intellect and believe it. And we mirror whatever depictions that come from that space, which met us in our living rooms, met us in our lives, and so forth. Well, a group that been exploited under America, no protections, no policy, correct policies in terms of what's owed, a sacredcy that's what's owed to us, reparations, protections, policy, you know, and that left us to believe whatever we mirror. And black people feel like, okay, well, we made it. We black talk shows out, rappers here, basketball players, football games, all that stuff has been set up in a way to you to believe that you're okay. But all the policies that belong to you or should belong to you are being kept at bay and denied to you through the policy of benign neglect. And these are the things that you need to be protected. Not just necessarily for opportunity, so you can be access to the business owner, to access to business and to access to capital. Not necessarily just that, but that's one main thing. But also for the fact of being protection, is protections, protected class citizenship. And therefore, when you get, what happens if the head doesn't respect you, the body won't. We are in a legislative body that do not respect black people because the head hasn't chosen to anchor us, black people, who served this country historically and sufferings properly, effectively, and to anchor us in the nature of respect and the nature in a very sacred way in terms of who we are and what happened in terms of us. And that means that we are the engine of this society. We are the battery. We is her battery. We're the apparatus of the wealth of this nation and always have been. Right now, it's in a more economic way, a more industrial manner. But back then, it was just slavery. Slavery, if you look it up and you look at it, you will find that slavery was the main resource that built this beautiful enterprise, that built this beautiful society in its all glory, in all of her liberties, come from slavery. And it comes from the fact that people took ownership. It's a very serious reason why they didn't want to let slavery go. It had nothing to do with it's just fun to have slaves. It was also resourceful, and it lasted so long. Where a lot of people, you read these books, and like I'm doing and studying, a lot of people that were white, I'm not taking up for them, didn't even want to harm slaves really. Some of them didn't, but they had to. That was the order, the code of conduct. That was the order of business. In order to get your property, in order to be that person to keep this going, you had to sell people, parents, babies, or whatever. It was a resourceful, slavery was an engine. It was an institution that was profitable to the world and the United States, and it built the country. And we look at the construct that we've been relegated to, the social construct even, where now if the head doesn't respect us, and that is we don't get legislators in order, the body does not. Everybody know if you get the head, you get the what? Okay, the head that follow. So the body does not respect you if the head doesn't. And in this body, you get wars, the constant wars, racism, police brutality, the people who own businesses, the shaping of the body is disrespecting you because the head hasn't set a precedence. And that's the United States government and all her glory. And all the laws and the constitutional rights that were supposed to be there to develop community and protection and safety for freed slaves. Where we had to fight in the street and lose our lives, and Jim Crow and malicious group KKK or whatever, running people off their property and stuff like that, keeping black people oppressed and under America. That was the code of conduct as for a group who owned our parents or slaves and made money and always been in beautiful enclaves of revenue and beautiful enclaves of success and enjoying wealth, sitting upon wealth as something that they had as the apparatus of that. And that goes through my blood. And now I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to be a part of this and build partnership with my community and let people know on my side of the world that we ringing the bell. We're doing something very serious. And we need you to know that. And we need you to understand that, because people that are black people, that are politicians, need to turn and tune in to the new voices of black media and the grassroots. Yes, there's some disagreements, like I said before, inside it, but it does not touch the significance of what we're doing, not by far. Not by far. And we've been here for a while, and I've been telling people about who we are and what we're doing. I built a fan base page on Facebook. Of course, you know I went to Facebook. I built a community action group. It's doing pretty good. It's called Lending the Contributions and Community Awareness. I'm an awareness minister. I do that, and I, work at the in the community base, partner with a psychologist, Dr. Francis, with the Bounding for Opportunities and Transforming Lives. So we were able to help shape people in the local level gain self-sufficiency, like young black men that I've been dealing with. And it was a win on that. People are actually needing stuff like that. They need to know who they are. They need to know policy. They need to know that they can be effective in themselves and what they've been missing. And a lot of times they are really shocked and alarmed that they've been existing and haven't been taught what's actually relevant and being pointed to the facts. And they understand, and I tell them there's a difference between facts and opinions. And we're talking facts here. Yes, we share opinions. We all do. And sometimes opinions lead to actual facts. But most of all, facts is what's going to walk around. The truth the truth going to put his pants on. And the truth of the matter is that we're in litigation with our country, and it's a very serious matter, a very sacred matter, that we've been denied something. That's offensive. That's a harm. That's what word I'm looking for? That's actually assault. That's intellectual assault and physical also. We're left open to exploit. So we've been exploited for all these centuries because we never were anchored in the respect of the country and the way it moves in terms of business and safety. Wealth is safety. Understanding is freedom. So if we as a group know as a unit we have to be here, this is what we design. We know we are supposed to be a unit. We decree and we employ ourselves to it. We order the construct with our dialogue, with our want to, with our nature, with our education, with our credentials. And I mean, and I'm pointing to every different sector because we were all beautifully and fearfully, wonderfully made. So therefore, we understand a power source to be able to be in proximity to power. So what we have is a media apparatus here at the grassroots and the voices of black media for us to come to and gather and educate and partner. And people can go to school online from different people in these groups too. There's a lot of prominent people here that have chosen to be here for the sake of historical endeavor and anchor, for the sake of something more than just mediocre existence. Black people, you are a sleeping giant in terms of what owed to you and what is happening to you. And we've been defaced in terms of safety. You see, as I said, if you don't have the head, the body doesn't have to respond. Without the brain, the body can't move anyway, if you want to be scientific about it. But what happens is, because we've been left out and locked out, and we have been honored in a respectful way, we're left open to be exploited. Open to be exploited, exploitation. Where now people can harm black people and just do what you want to and get off because the body respects your group. The body respects you as a law, as somebody who as somebody who's important, as a white person, or even immigration. They come here and build constituency with this power source, using our allocated resources. Now, our resources allocated to them, building themselves from using words like minorities or colored. That's why we not colored. We black people. We're distinct on ourselves. We are our group because people coming and they're mimicking mimicking our policies and our movement and jumping on board. And we as black people and a lot of black people that are in uh, political seats are entertaining this very dangerous threat and serious matter. And this is who we're talking to. This is who I'm talking to right now. You are the ones who need to be following us. I'm a child of a baby boomer. So we're your children. Listen up. We know what we're doing. You need to be inside this apparatus, inside this, because you inside this storm. And you turning keys that don't benefit us. You turning keys that harm us. And don't even, a lot of you don't realize it, and some of you don't care. Because, for instance, James Clyburn, I've watched him. He knows what he's doing. He's just got old and stubborn, and he knows what he's doing. All he wants the safety of his little family. But he got hurt when he didn't get those positions, when he went around campaigning for Joe Biden. President Biden. He ain't my president. But I understand that I didn't vote for him because we understood the right, racism is racism. White supremacy is white supremacy. We had a strategy going. And now we have to get in where we get in here now. And this certain strategy that the masses of you guys created. And you may not understand why I'm saying it, but I do. I understand. And so we get in this strategy where somebody now is an Oval Office that you put there, largely we put there as a group, who's giving executive order to everybody else, everybody but you, as a descendant of slavery. As a black person that put him there, that is the reason why he can reign in that position. Him and Kamala Harris, reigning in that position and have no intent to serve us as a community. No intent to serve us. And we are the one deserving. We are the ones that have been left out to harm. He didn't even want to do police reform. He was talking rude to the civil rights leaders. I was embarrassed for them. I heard it. I listened to it 3 or 4 times. He even talked to Al Sharpton kind of rude. A lot of rude, actually. So much for that. All the policy that you think, black people didn't even demand anything because you've been such a political neophyte. In terms of what happens, we're not necessarily looking at it as though we want to send at somebody's lunch counter. This is not like the civil rights. It's a total correction, what we're looking for. Where Dr. King left off. If I'm not mistaken, Dr. King got assassinated right after he started talking about economics. So things were left off right there, my friend. So now here we go, picking up the baton. And we're doing it in our sector of conversation. We've claimed a sector for ourselves to create a unit and decree and deploy and employ a code of conduct. So that now we're respected. Because if we're not in unit, you cannot move anything in terms of policy in the way it's built. You are a group here. You were shaped in a political environment as a group, sanctioned as a group. In terms of law, the United States, you're lawfully a group that is belonging to something. So what's happened, we don't exist. Black people, if you notice, don't exist like no other group. We actually peculiar in our beauty, but we also peculiar in terms of what happens to us. Very good reason why. Because the engine of slavery is still at large. It's still at its movement in terms of economic, it's resourceful, in terms of industrial, in terms of policy, political slavery. Because you have not given those descendants, not just the slaves, but the descendants, what it takes, or the slaves at the time, to actually be free. And that's policy, legislative order, protections, in which why they were enslaved, a dollar amount so that they can begin the process of developing community. And when we did, it was also dealt with and destroyed because it was left open. The protection was never ordered. It had been ordered but not implemented. You see, and the United States government failed that. And we're in litigation, and we're here to correct that. We're here to ring the bell that this is the time to do so. And we are in our finest hours here. This is why we're here. That's very dear to us. I want my inheritance. I want to be able to move successfully. And I understand being in places and building community. I understand that engine. We are the support mechanism of this society. We are the economic apparatus, and always have been. We've been resourceful here and historically suffered to be that. And other people now study us, make money from us. There's no protections and no secrecy according to our group. So we go around and we looking at depictions and mirroring things that people say we are because we have been left out of opportunity. You can do that to someone who's been exploited. Well, they don't have this chance. They don't. They're not open to the policies. And the United States have a beautiful glory and a beautiful liberty in terms of her revenue and what she does for people, and the United States and how she implement policies and how she serves in her protection for groups. She's very powerful and very presidential. She makes the president state it and set it for what she wants it to be. She's able to do that. This body, the head of this body, is able to have the reins to actually anchor that. But you have to first be a unit in terms of being denied that. They could if they want to, but in terms of us being a unit, the division worked when they divided. We are in the matrix. They divided black people so that they can say that we're dysfunctional. They were saying we were dysfunctional when we were slaves to keep us slaves. Then they said we were dysfunctional when we came out of slavery and called us lazy. Depictions in the cartoons had cartoons say lazy town, everybody sleeping, all kinds of depictions of black people, saying that black people got a low IQ. But then when we're on our jobs and stuff, in different places, they're using us for our intellect. Every job I go to, and I'm usually called to order to be in leadership. Well, I've seen people use my brain so much and benefit and are in awe, like what I'm becoming like a asset to your enterprise. And you're supposed to be an asset to your environment, right? But we as black people, we a lot of time when we're an asset to the environment, we have to worry about being taken advantage of in that space because we don't have any capital. We don't relegate to safety because we are gifted. And people telling black people you got low IQ or depictions. But we have to exist there because of non-policy, not being corrected by policy. That's where the reparations, part of the reparation is very important. And all that do take a dollar amount. We do have to have personal checks. And we do have to anchor in policy and protections, protected class citizenship. Where you develop a people, where the United States have allowed a power source to anchor a people with fear tactics, to be dysfunctional even, put drugs in their community, so that now people are infighting and now you get to depict and point and say, you are a dysfunctional people. But there's a lot of us, a whole lot of us, that are concerned about that, so that we can correct and begin the process of shaping our community and saving lives in our community, real lives. Not believing that some little small thing gonna be reparations. No, we're not going for that. You're gonna begin the process, and we want to pull our group here so that we have a more anchored unit in terms of power. Unity is power, and power respects power. That's why police are shooting unarmed black men. And people blame things on black men because they know the head doesn't respect you. That's very simple to me in terms of my study. The head doesn't respect you. The body is free to do that. The body is free to do that. So while you got law enforcement, other groups, people that come here to mimic white supremacy or mimic the power source from immigration, that think they're at large, disrespect black people, and try to depict black people to find policy and use our legitimized movements or whatever we do, and using black politicians to stand for them when they're in trouble. They know exactly what they're doing. It's very precise and meticulous. They know who we are. We have political capital. We have not been able to use it for ourselves. We have political capital, but we're treated as a slave in terms of how we use it. This is the depiction. This is the findings. We don't enjoy the findings of the United States gifts and incentives. There's a very methodical reason for that. Black people that are in politics and have seats and as lawmaker seats do not fight for us. That is the code of conduct that they've been constructed to. That's what they agree with. They pretend by using soft tones, really do not implement our laws, probably haven't even taken a look at them. Now we, at the grassroots in the New Voice of Black Media, are forcing them to take a look at it. They open and look at it now because we talking. So all this development that you get, even when you get people pulled down, just like Sharon Osbourne, is because we talking. And we are winning the confidence of people that need this. Other black people. And we have some allies, but we don't look for that. We're not looking for that. We understand how we have to first set a precedent. Because sometimes people may come to be an ally to us that we have to disclaim. Might have to draw the line. You're not going to come and be in poison to that we need as a development. You're not going to stop us from the process of the code of conduct in terms of who we are. We have a substantial case. We have a substantial existence that we have not laid claims upon. That is life-saving. And by us not experiencing that, it's life-threatening, actually. Not being protected. What people are able to do things and shoot you and get off in the courts and offer your family, a couple $1 million? That's not something I want any money for. A life being taken. But I do say that, people do deserve what they do, but we see it in a bigger way. And in terms of us being corrected in our policy, which is reparations, our inheritance, the things that had us suffer and the things that can shape us differently, all the hardship that's happened to us that make us on the bottom, that put us on the side of things, that have us on the bottom as a battery while everybody else enjoy the ride. And that's reparations. The things that correct us. We don't go to just necessarily clapping, yay. No, this owed to us. We normalize that what we have as a competent person, in my opinion, so that we can build facility and we can begin to the process of saving our people and correcting situations. We have enough social workers, we have lawyers, we have all of the things people have. We need to be having protection. And a lot of us at the grassroots that don't really have opportunity in business, we're going to need to be able to anchor there so that we are adjacent to the way the society moves in a respectful manner for safety. Because wealth is safety. Authority people respect wealth. They respect you when you are important. Or when when Mother Nature, the society says you important, the United States, the head, remember? So if the head hasn't anchored you in safety and properly anchored you, the body looking at that like, wow, black people working for everybody, we can do this to black people. Oh, wow, look at this, black people homeless, whatever. But the minds of black people have made so many inventions. The intellectual presence of black people have given this society a beautiful, upstanding exchange. And you tell me that the reason why they can say bad things about black people is because we've been left open to exploit. You see what I'm saying? So policy has to be also in order. Because now we got Asians going around trying to depict black people as harming them at large, as a group, as a community, which is offensive. That's assault upon us. We won't concede to that. Even though I don't want to see anybody hurt, I don't want to see no old person killed or hurt. But a few incidents where you got homeless people and people with mental health hurting Asians does not speak to our community at large. It doesn't, and they know it. Because the white people been hurting them too. Why are you talking about that? They know they can't. And they want to implement policy for themselves. They know exactly what they're doing. It's very meticulous and precise. Everybody knows what they're doing. Even the girl who started Black Lives Matter knew what she was doing. They know what they're doing. So they know that if we cry out an outcry, we're going to get policy and protections is what they want. If we agree that it's black people, then white people may decide to turn the key of government. And Joe Biden is talking about that. He better not give them policy for that outcry, the way black men and women being harmed by authorities in the country at large. for not being corrected in its policies, in our policies, as descendants of slaves? And where Asian people have been harming black people outside their businesses, they had one little boy damn near in a headlock, holding them hostage, and he didn't even steal nothing, throwing black people on the floor. Peter Liang, shoot black people, but you want policy from protection from black people? Because a few incidents happened? Get out of my face. This is what I'm looking at. And I'm up here studying policy and politics, and I know who you are. And my group's going to know who you are. My people are going to know who you are. That's not going to happen. But right now, we anchored in politics so that we have a group. We come here, and I think a lot of the baby boomers need to hear this. Y'all need to hear messages from us, the grassroots and new voices of black media. We are the ones that are saving our opportunity right now. Because when you guys are making choices and think that, oh, this social illusion is real, you rub it on your leg somewhere, I'm tired, I'm about to go to bed, I just watched this show, Tyler Perry came on, ain't think about policy, telling your children to be quiet, and we out here in the millions every day. We're actually having an effective exchange, really. And it's really happening for you. Like, we can't afford to build a facility or put a roof on our parents' house or nothing like that. We've been locked out to give to what? Some Arabs to come here from another country, or East Indians? Because a power source wants to continue our demise as descendants of slaves, unlawfully hold and withhold our inheritance and our rights, and also allocate our resources to other groups in our faces, so that they can take leadership in our society that we built and manufactured. Are you serious? This is what's going on. And then black people standing with immigration one time. It was actually pathetic to see. Actually, when I saw it, I was cringing and talking about it, and my group was too. We couldn't get you guys' attention because you guys were trying to be benevolent. See, this is what the church was doing to you. Church can be a good thing and bad, but see, we're doing Project Takeover. We're doing Project Takeover because we need to be everywhere. This is very serious. And y'all, voting and standing for people, brothers came out, big, strong black men fighting for immigration. I don't see no Mexicans dining with black people. We don't eat cilantro. I'm not trying to be xenophobic. I'm not. But I don't see them dealing with you like, I don't see you responsible for them. You're a child of America, which is responsible for you. You're trying to act and mimic white supremacy as though you're already corrected. I get it. But you got a people out here that's gone uncorrected and without policy that belongs to them. You yourself is uncorrected. That Me Too movement was really serving rich men because you're black, right? So that's racism. You don't understand how racism works if you don't have protections. It ain't necessarily just about you having money, because some of you have it, but what about protections? And you're reflecting in community in terms of respect, because people being corrected now. You're not suffering that at large, because the masses of black people are suffering at the grassroots for opportunity. And most of all of us are suffering to be respected because of policy, bad policy. And all of it comes together. And Mr. President, or Mr. Biden, man, didn't even want to give police reform and still don't want to. That's where you were saving your life. With black men getting shot by the unarmed. And you want to demise the President Trump so bad, you guys. So you put this man in here, and I understand. I do. I get it. But the President Trump is a bold racist. We get it. But also, he's affiliated with dealing with certain things just like Biden probably could be. That's no different. We had a strategy going that we wanted to work with. That's what we were doing. And you guys were talking to us like he was crazy. We told you not to vote for this man because there's a strategy on the table that we can now make ourselves present in the political atmosphere, in the political forum, allocating resources and being respected because we were making some noise. However, we're just going to let it unfold. We're going to let it unfold. Now got to get under this system and do, because the President Joe Biden, he's just a man too, just like Trump. He's going to have to adhere to our demands. He's going to have to adhere to our substantial argument. He's going to have to adhere to what's anchored and belong to us. He's going to have to adhere. And they are adhering to us. Even mainstream apparatus. Because we're pulling things apart. We're talking to the society. We're able to be effective. We got our people here. And whatever we say, a lot of the grassroots and mainstream, new voices are getting the job done. And we need you guys to understand that we're building, ordering, and call to order a respectful unit, a proximity to power, and respect. So therefore we can move things and we can receive things as a body. As a body, to be nurtured and loved and a sleeping giant. We are black people, really a sleeping giant. Really we are. We're so magnificent. We are, but we've been divided. And it stay divided when we have these different ideologies, because a lot of black people are asleep. And it's a different ideology over here, saying stuff like this. And we're in war, political war. People are trying to demise our existence. A lot of people are in fear of black people because we're so talented. But we don't deserve to be harmed by that. Because when black people, we take up the advocacy on something, we execute. We actually, get it in. We become the top of stuff in our arts a lot of time. But we don't necessarily want to harm people. But we are going to be treated with respect. This is where it stops. We're in our finest hour. And we're going to continue. But we're preaching to you guys so you all know and you don't be left out of historical anchoring in the good side of history. Come on and get past the little talking points. A lot of you don't want to listen to talks because you hear and say, we take a long introduction. But that is so small according to what needs to really happen, okay? You'll find any excuse not to be upstanding as a black person. You don't need to do that. That's against your life right now. You need to save your life, your children's life. This is real. That's how real it is. Why you think unarmed black men were getting shot by the police? Why you think the police officer building in California talking about the executioners with Hispanics involved? We need to have an anchored unit. So when we say move, you move. We say be still, you be still. We need to be on code. And we need to gather our crops and in our policy. They know we coming because they are responding to us. We know what they're saying. A lot of you don't know it because you're not paying attention. Some of you may be old and some people may be ill. We get that. I'm not saying that to be mean to people, but there's a lot of people who need to understand what's going on. No, I don't need to apologize, for real. I'm just trying to say so you'll understand this is something, and I already understand. And our children definitely gonna understand. They need to be anchored in certain type of policies, in certain educations. We need more lawyers. We need judges. We need to gather respect, not be which they depict as a dysfunction or dysfunctional unit where now they can be exploited, or you can shoot one of them and get off because he's black. You can say he did something even when you turn your body cam off. That's not protected class citizenship. That's not protected class citizenship. My granddaddy fought top sergeant in the Korean War. I'm studying social science and, being effective at the local level, trying to teach young men self-sufficiency and stuff. Reading, being part of a book club. You know what I'm saying? We come from progressiveness, a lot of us, and we need to act like it and put our armor on and understand who we are so that we can get the reins and teach our young men. I know mass incarceration wasn't good because a lot of us are locked up for dumb reasons. Some of us didn't even commit a crime. And if you drop drugs off in the community and you find that this is going on with black people, there was no program to save them. But white men didn't go to jail for it. Other groups didn't go to jail for it. That was bringing it out because they had organized crime. They're a power source. When white people started getting hooked on drugs, it was called a crisis, not a war. Black people commit a crime, you're going to get killed or locked up or thrown away. You deal with black people on that level. You deal with other groups as though you're going to reprimand them and tell them that you have no business doing this, and you're going to put that up. You're going to get into a center. You're going to get white people even talk to other white people like that. I've seen it done. I've been in jail before. I've been to jail before. I seen how white people talk to each other all over the place. You know better than that. Sometimes they know your parent. They'll call your parent, different things. It's to buffer them and correct them. Yeah, jail is there for that. But for us, it's to keep us there. Now, we supposed to be shot and killed or something. It's we commit a crime. It's not shape to shape, but no. This is why we stand and get unit so we can police our own people, so we can have a unit anchor and allocate our resources so we can build facility. Thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you some more. Subscribe to my channel. I'm about to run out of time, guys. I was going to be here a little longer, but anyway, subscribe to my channel and I'll be back to talk and do discourse. Thank you so much. Follow policy. Stay healthy. Don't eat chillings. Stay healthy, guys. Water, okay? Water. A lot of water. Thank you for joining me. All right.